Good morning. Last class we saw about disk management. That we saw two types of formatting. That is logical formatting and physical formatting. It is how the storage is divided into sectors or how it can be grouped into files, and we can store files or data into the disk. All those we saw. Then we saw how our boot program in the disk is partition, and how we are having this MBR master boot record in our disk storage. Then we saw about how to handle bad block by using two different mechanisms. The two different mechanisms which we saw is sector sparing and sector slipping. And the next we saw about RAID structure. So we are using RAID structure for have a reliable system, and also that is to avoid failure in a system. In that we saw about 6 levels: RAID level 0, RAID level 1, RAID level 2, sorry, 7 levels up to RAID level 6 we saw. So in today's class we are going to see about the access method. Okay. So in last class we have also saw about files. Okay, what do you mean by file? File is a collection of relevant information that is stored on the disk storage. Okay, that is meant by file. We saw some file attributes also. So what are the file attributes? Name, identifier, size, then protection mechanism. Like that we are having all those file attributes, and in today's class we are going to see how we are going to access those files. Okay, for accessing the files in the disk storage we are having two methods. One is sequential access, another one is direct access. Direct access is also known as relative access. We'll see one by one. Okay, file means it is nothing but a collection of relevant information in the disk storage. In sequential access means we'll be accessing the files stored on the disk in a sequential manner. So நம்ம files வந்து ஃபைல்ஸ்ல என்னதான் இருக்க போகுது, டேட்டா தான் இருக்க போகுது. ஸோ டேட்டாவை ஒன் பை ஒன், ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் the position is 53 means, so after 53 we may access 54, 55, 56 like that. In a sequential manner we'll be accessing data stored in the file using this sequential access method. Okay, not only in the forward direction, not only from 53 we are going to 54, 55, 56, 57 position, we may also go backwards. Okay, we will rewind the storage also. From 53 we can also go backwards, that is 52, 51, 50 like that. Okay, so if we are using sequential access means, so from the current position 53 we want to access the position 60, that is the data in the position 60 means we have to cross from 53 to 54, 55, 56 up to 60. We have to cross all those positions in between in case of sequential access. Okay, so we can't directly go to that position to access the data if you are having sequential access in the disk storage. Okay, for accessing that data we are having two functions. That is for accessing data sequentially. That function is read next, write next of. So it is nothing but a function. This read next of, within that we can give some argument. If our current position is 53 means we can give read next of 53, then 54 will be accessed. So like that the consecutive position stored in the disk storage can be accessed sequentially using this. We can also read as well as write here using sequential access. Read means the processor gets data from that position, means it is read. Write means if the processor write some data or send some data to that position, that is write. Okay, so in sequential access we can have either in forward direction or in the rewind direction. See, that is explained here, the slide number 2, with the help of the image. See, in between we are having current position. So we can go forward. As forward, read and write can be done. After this current position to the end of the disk we can have, as well as this 53 is in between. We may have from 0 to 200 locations. That 53 is middle means we can also traverse before this 53. That is 53 to 52, 51, 50, 49. Like that we can go in the reverse direction also. That is known as rewinding the disk storage. That is from the current position we are going towards the beginning of the disk storage. That is rewind option. Okay. See, this sequential access is normally used in case of editors and compilers. Okay. For the editors and compilers and all, we'll be using the sequential access in the disk storage. If you are storing the compilers in the disk storage or editors, editor may be a text editor like that. Okay, text editor means we are having a notepad, MS Word document, and compiler means you may have a C compiler, C++ compiler. Also, by default, there will be some compilers within our computer system, because with the help of the operating system, we are running several programs that can be a application program or system programs. So all those application programs and system programs will be written in some language. So to compile it, we'll be having a compiler surely in our system. So that compiler may be within the system or within the user access. If it is in user access means if you're having Turbo C, C++ and all, we'll be installing that software. Along with that software, a compiler will also be installed. Okay. We may also have system compilers. So all those compiler will access data sequentially. Okay. So if you're having a compiler means, and we are also having a C program. So if you want to compile it means, in the sequential manner only, it will be compiling the program. Okay. That is from top to bottom. Okay, usually you all know it will see the main program like that you will be seeing. If you have some branch or decision means, it will be going based upon the condition. Okay, but in the sequential access, in between if may have some condition means, it will be shifting its position of access to any point. Okay. So in that way we can have sequential access. So sequential access is a simple one, that is the accessing data one by one in a sequential manner. The next file access method is direct access. It is also known as relative access. Direct access means, say I am considering the previous example, if the disk is in the position number 53. Okay. So from 53, if I need to access a data in the location 60 means, we no need to go in between 54, 55 and all. In direct access from 53, we can directly go to that position 60 and access the data. Accessing the data means we can either read the data or we can either write the data. Okay. So in direct access, that particular location is accessed directly. So here in this direct access, our file itself will be divided into logical records. That is nothing but our logical blocks. In sequential access and all, we are seeing the position only. 53 like that, we are having sequential. So we no need to divide our disk storage into blocks and all. But here, in this case, direct access, our file should be divided into logical records or logical blocks. Okay. All those logical blocks or the logical records will be of fixed length. That is, the file is of fixed length means, for example, our disk storage may be divided into several blocks. Okay. So that those blocks may be of 10 byte or maybe of 1 kilobyte. Okay. Each block may be of 1 kilobyte and that length is fixed for each and every logical block. For direct access, the whole disk will be divided into file. Okay, first of all, we'll be having files. So files is nothing but collection of relevant data. So in that file, we'll be having several logical blocks or logical records. So all those logical blocks or logical records will have fixed length. Okay, the size of that logical block will be fixed. So for accessing data in direct access, we are using some other functions, that is read of n. So here this n denotes the position which we want to access. For example, I said from that position 53, I need to access data in the location 60. So I may give read of 60. Okay. So directly I can access that location read of 60. If I need to write into that location 60 means I will be giving write of 60. Okay. So these are the two functions which is used in direct access. So another one function we are having operation position file. So I have said in the example the current position is at 53. So some system may have both direct access as well as sequential access. So the disk storage can have both direct access as well as sequential access, or some may have only sequential access or some may have only direct access. So in that case, if both the direct and sequential access is happening in a disk storage means for converting this direct access into sequential access, we'll be using this function operation position file of n. That is, we are going to give the current position. Okay. So for quickly access the data, that is, I'm considering the same example. The current position is at 53. Okay. The current position is at 53. I need to access the data at 60. Further, I need to access the data at 61. And further, I need to access the data at 63. Like that, I'm having the request in a queue. Okay, I'm repeating again. So current position is at 53. After 53, I need to access the location 60. After 60, I need to access the location 61. After that, I need to access the location 63. So in that case, if I am using direct access means no problem. So from 53, I can give read of 60 and I can read that data 60. And after that, I can give read of 61, read of 63. Like that, I can access the data in case of direct access. Okay. But if I am switching to sequential access, then I have to change that current position to 60. Then it will be easy for access, so that the data access will be fast. There won't be delay. Suppose in the example, na 53 la irundhu na read of next கொடுத்துட்டு நம்ம sequential access என்ன பண்ணுவோம், read of next தான் கொடுக்க போறோம். So read next கொடுத்துட்டே வந்தனா, so இந்த 53 ல இருந்து 54, 55, 56 அப்படியே நான் 60 வரைக்கும் next கொடுத்துட்டு வந்தா அந்த 60 உள்ள டேட்டாவை ஆக்சஸ் பண்றதுக்கு there will be a delay. So to avoid that delay, I can use that function operation position file. So here நான் 53 ல இருந்து next 60, 61, 63. So like that only I am going to access the data. So அப்ப நான் என்ன பண்ணலாம், 53 location இருந்து I can move that current position to 60. So for moving that current position to a particular location, we are using this function operation position file of n. So here if I used operation position file of 60, then the current position will be at 60. So here I can give read of n, or if I need to use read next means what I will be giving the current position. The current position will be read next of 59. So that only the 60th position will be accessed. So in that case, I need to give operation position file 59. So புரியுதா, நான் 53 லொகேஷன்ல இருந்து நான் என்ன ஆக்சஸ்க்கு மாறுறேன், சீக்வென்ஷியல் ஆக்சஸ்க்கு நான் சுவிட்ச் ஓவர் ஆகுறேன். அப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவேன், நான் 60th பொசிஷனை இப்போ ஆக்சஸ் பண்ணணும். அப்ப என்ன பண்ணலாம், நான் இப்போ சீக்வென்ஷியல் ஆக்சஸா யூஸ் பண்ண போறேன். அந்த டைம்ல நான் என்ன கொடுப்பேன், இந்த 60 பொசிஷனுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்ம read next தான் கொடுக்க போறோம். So I have to use that previous location. So before 60 we'll be having 59. So this operation position file of 59 indicates that the current position will be 59. So after this 59 we'll be accessing 60th location by using the function read next of 59. Okay, clear? If I'm using, because the current location is 59, so read next of 59 only will be. So using that we can access 60. So after that, so now the current position is 60. So after that, if I'm giving read next, then it will be accessing 61st location. So in that I will be reading the content of 61st location. So in between there is 62, but I don't want to read that means. Also I have to go to that 62 because we are using sequential access. Sequential access la na 62 location la எந்த டேட்டாவும் எனக்கு தேவைப்படல. ஆனாலும் நான் 63rd location use பண்றதுக்காக I have to go to 62 and then only I will be going to 63rd location. We are having this sequential access. Okay, clear? So I hope you will be understanding why we are using this position file of operation. That is to change the current position. We'll be using operation position file of that current position. Okay, this function is used in terms of switching from direct access to sequential access. This will be useful when the disk storage supports both the direct access and sequential access. So in that n and all will be giving the block number. Okay, because in this direct access we'll be dividing a file into fixed length logical records or logical block. Okay, in sequential access there is no need to divide into blocks and all because we are going to access sequentially only. But if we are using this direct access, we need to divide the file into blocks. Okay, so for here in this direct access we'll be using relate to block number. Relate to block number means, see I am saying 53rd location, 60th block number, like that. That all those block number are relate to block number. Actually the location of the disk may be some 1023 and 3053, like that the block number will be, because we are having that block of fixed length. Okay, நம்ம block என்ன சொல்லிருக்கோம், fixed length ன்னு சொல்றேன். So the 53rd location வந்து 1000 to 1024. Suppose the fixed length வந்து நான் 24 bytes use பண்றேன். So அப்ப 1000 to 1024 maybe for the position 53. அத வந்து the relative block number use பண்ணி நான் 53 ன்னு யூஸ் பண்றேன் இந்த direct accessல. So if your relative block number means it is a name, just a name given for that block number, but the actual location resides from 1000 to 1024 is the location of this block number 53. Okay, the memory location. So diskலயே நம்ம என்னலாம் ஸ்டோர் பண்ண போறோம், டேட்டா. So அந்த டேட்டா ஸ்டோர் பண்ற லொகேஷன் வந்து 1000 ல இருந்து 1024 இருக்கலாம். பட் அத நான் block number வச்சு கால் பண்றேன். That is a relative block number. It is not an absolute block number or the absolute address. Okay, clear? So we'll be using relative block number. So ஒரு நம்பர் வச்சு நம்ம எல்லா பிளாக்குமே கால் பண்றோம். அதுமே ஒரு relative ஆனதுதான். It is not an exact one. Okay, specifying the location. It is not an exact block number, specifying in the disk location. So for that we are having relative block number. See, if we here in this table shown in the slide number 3, we are having sequential access and direct access implementation. Okay, so see, in our system, if we are resetting, means that is if you are turning on our system means the starting location in the disk storage may be 0th location. Okay, so that is if you are turning on our system, our starting location will be 0th location. Or if you are restarting your system, okay, நம்ம restart பண்ணாலும் 0th location தான் நம்ம disk storageல இருக்கிற emptieth block ன்னு சொல்லி நம்ம assume பண்ணுவோம். Okay, so during reset, system restart only we are saying it as reset. That is in terms of system reset we will be saying. So in a sequential access, we are resetting. So resetting means obviously it goes to the initial position, that is block 0. Okay. So நம்ம restart பண்ணாலும் system அப்பதான் நம்ம turn பண்ணாலும் நம்மளோட current position எங்க இருக்கும்? 0th locationல இருக்கும். So for in sequential access, the system is turned on just now. இப்பதான் நம்ம turn on பண்ணோம்னா நம்ம current position என்ன இருக்கும்? 0th locationல இருக்கும். So the reset sequential location means for implementation for direct access. The CP is nothing but a variable indicating the current position. So the current position will be 0th block. Okay. So sequential access நம்ம reset மட்டும் கொடுத்தாலே direct எங்க போயிரலாம்? 0th location போயிரலாம். So for this direct access, we have to specify that location. The CP is equal to 0. CP means current position. So in sequential access, we are having read next. Read next means after CP, if we are giving this. So reset பண்றோம். Reset பண்ணும்போது initially 0th blockல இருக்கு. நம்ம read next கொடுத்தோம்னா the next block, that is the first block will be read. Okay. The same way for implementing using direct access, we'll be having read CP. Okay. So read CP means நம்ம CP ஓட value என்னது? CP is equal to 0. So read CP. After that we'll be giving CP is equal to CP plus 1. That is used for reading the next block after turning on our system or restarting our system. So அதுக்கு என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? Direct accessல read CP. Now we have to read that value CP is equal to 0 here. So அப்ப CP is equal to 0 ன்னு இருக்கும். Next வந்து என்னது? CP is equal to CP plus 1 means CP is equal to 0 plus 1. That indicates CP is equal to 1. Okay, clear? That is how we'll be accessing the next location in direct access. So we are giving a write next. Starting from the reset. நம்ம reset பண்ண உடனே write next பண்ண என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? இங்க read பண்ணது போல என்ன பண்ண போறோம்? write பண்ண போறோம். So அதனால தான் அங்க we are having read instead of that read we are having write CP and then CP is equal to CP plus 1. Okay. This is how we'll be using sequential access and direct access in a particular system. And this is how we can convert the sequential access into direct access. Okay. So sequential access நம்ம direct access convert பண்ணா we'll be using these type of instructions. We are giving read next. In direct access, that means we are going to read this current position value and we are going to increment that current position value by 1. That is the meaning of read next in direct access. Okay. So sequential access நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம்? read next கொடுக்கிறது direct accessல எப்படி இருக்கும்? That is obtaining that current position and incrementing that current position by 1. Okay. That is in case of direct access. If you are having sequential access means reset. Reset பண்ணோம்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா current position வந்து 0 க்கு வரும். So நம்ம direct access என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? We have to assign the CP is equal to 0. Okay, clear? This is how we'll be converting sequential access to direct access when our system supports both sequential access and direct access. Because some locations or some blocks in the disk storage may only have sequential access or may only have direct access. And some locations may have both the sequential access and direct access. நம்ம disk storage என்னது காமனா தான் இருக்கு. நம்ம previous caseல என்ன பார்த்தோம்? For this editors and compilers and all will be using this sequential access only. Okay. Editors, compilers நம்ம என்ன தான் யூஸ் பண்ண போறோம்? sequential access யூஸ் பண்ண போறோம். So நம்ம disk வந்து என்ன சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுச்சுனா sequential access support பண்ணுது, random direct access. The both access support பண்ணுச்சுனா நம்ம வந்து the content, for example the block 53 may allow direct access, that block 52 may allow sequential access. So நான் block 52 sequential access பண்ணிட்டு block 53 நான் direct access change பண்றதுக்கு நான் இந்த மாதிரி changes பண்ணிக்கலாம். read next ல இருந்து sequential access, for direct access I will be having read CP and current position is incremented by 1. Okay. So இந்த மாதிரி I can convert this sequential access into direct access. But converting this direct access into sequential access is somewhat a complex one. ஓகே, இந்த டைரக்ட் ஆக்சஸ் நம்ம சீக்வென்ஷியல் ஆக்சஸை கன்வெர்ட் பண்றதா கொஞ்சம் காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் ஆனது அண்ட் இட் இஸ் அ டைம் கன்சூமிங் ஆல்சோ. இந்த டைரக்ட் ஆக்சஸ்ல என்ன பண்ணலாம், 53rd லொகேஷன்ல இருந்து இமீடியட்டா 60th லொகேஷனுக்கு மூவ் பண்ணலாம். பட் நம்ம அதுக்கு தானே பார்த்தோம், சீக்வென்ஷியல் ஆக்சஸ் மூவ் பண்ணோம்னா we are using this operation position file off. சோ நம்ம அந்த பொசிஷனை வந்து டைரக்ட் ஆக்சஸ்லயே நம்ம சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் நம்ம எங்க போறோம், சீக்வென்ஷியல் ஆக்சஸ்ல போய் ரீநெக்ஸ்ட் கொடுக்குற மாதிரி பார்த்தோம், யூசிங் தட் ஆபரேஷன் பொசிஷன் ஃபைல் ஆஃப். ஓகே, so it is easy for converting sequential access into direct access, but it is somewhat complex for converting the access from direct to sequential. Okay, thus in our system, the disk storage, we can access the files either by using sequential access or direct access. So we are also having other access methods. So other access method will involve index. So similar to table of conduct, in our book and all we'll be having index. See, for a particular title, introduction means it will be given a particular page number. Like that you are seeing and you are going to access that introduction part. So ஒரு புக் எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா அந்த புக்ல உள்ள இண்டெக்ஸ் பார்ட்ல அந்த புக்ல என்னென்ன டாபிக்ஸ் நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம் இருக்கும் அண்ட் அதோட கரஸ்பாண்டிங் லொகேஷன், அந்த லொகேஷனா என்னது புக்ல பேஜ் நம்பர் will be available in the index of your book. அதே மாதிரி here we are having an index for the file. Okay, so other access method will involve index for a file. So for that we have to create index for the file. எப்படி ஒரு புக்ல என்ன டாபிக்ஸ் நம்ம பார்க்க போறோமோ அது எல்லாமே இண்டெக்ஸ்ல கொடுத்துட்டு அந்தந்த டாபிக்ஸ் எந்த பேஜ் நம்பர்ல இருக்கு, தட் இஸ் எந்த லொகேஷன்ல அந்த புக்ல இருக்கு, எல்லாமே எங்க கொடுக்குறோம், புக்கோட இண்டெக்ஸ்ல இருக்கு. அதே மாதிரி இன் சம் அதர் ஆக்சஸ் மெத்தட் ஆல்சோ we are having index for a particular file. So ஒரு ஃபைல் இருக்குன்னா, so file is a collection of relevant information. Okay, so அந்த ஃபைலோட we are having an index. So in that index we'll be having what are the contents available in the file. அந்த ஃபைல்ல என்னென்ன கண்டென்ட்லாம் இருக்கு, அந்த கண்டென்ட்லாம் எந்த லொகேஷன்ல இருக்கு, சோ அந்த டீடைல்லாம் எதுல இருக்கும், இண்டெக்ஸ்ல இருக்கும். இது சிமிலர் டு யுவர் பேஜ் டேபிள் இன் பேஜிங் கான்செப்ட். ஓகே, நம்ம எந்தெந்த பேஜ்ல எந்தெந்த ஃப்ரேம்ல இருக்கு நம்ம பாக்குறோமா, லைக் தட் we are having index in this access method. Okay, for example, here we are having this UPC code. Okay, if we are having a collection of books, okay, to store the details about that books. So in our library we are having several books. Okay, for example, it is a small library. I'm assuming there are 50 books in the library. So all those books will have a UPC. That UPC is nothing but a code. It's a unique code given for each and every book. Okay, so here I'm considering the data about the book is the title of the book. Okay, the disk I'm going to store the title and author of the book in the disk storage. For that I'm uniquely identifying it by means of this UPC code. Okay, so here in the index I will be having the UPC code and I will be accessing the name of the book. So UPC code வந்து ஒவ்வொரு புக்கும் நமக்கு ஒவ்வொரு UPC கோட் இருக்கும். So UPC கோட வச்சு அந்த புக்கோட நேம் நான் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண போறேன் disk storageல. So that is an example for index and in a disk storage. Okay, see that is given in this slide number 5. You can see here we are having an index and the relative files. See in the left side we are having index file. Index file means here the last name of that author. For example, we can consider the same case. I'm having a book. So last name of that author, Adams, Arthur, Asher, Smith, like that. I'm having the last name of that authors in the index file and the corresponding logical record number. Logical record is nothing but your logical block number. So Adams, அந்த புக்க பத்தி அந்த ஆத்தர் எழுதின புக்க பத்தி இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எந்த லொகேஷன்ல இருக்கு, அந்த லாஜிக்கல் நம்பர் ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்ணதுல இருக்கும். ஸோ ஆத்தூர் அந்த ஆத்தர் எழுதின புக்கோட இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸ் will be available in the logical record number provided in this index file. Here in this example we are considering the Smith. So we are having a author. For example, Smith is an author. So Smith எழுதின book-ஓட details எல்லாமே logical record number. So அதுல ஒரு 53 represent பண்ணிருந்தாங்கன்னா, so in our relative file, it will be searching. Okay, நம்ம file search பண்ணி அங்க 53rd location எங்க இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி பார்த்து, because here we are having only the relative block number. So only we are having relative file. Okay, so அந்த relative file பாத்தீங்கன்னா Smith. So Smith may be one of the author and another author may be John, and the book may be Social Security, and the age of that book means here we can give the publication year in which year the book may be published. Like that, all the details about the book will be available in the disk storage. For that, in the index file, I am keeping the author name and the corresponding logical block number or the logical record number. This logical block number or logical record number specifies the number of the block where this file is available. Okay, so in the author in the book oda details வந்து எந்த blockல available இருக்கு. So இந்த மாதிரி we can map it here. Okay, so this is in case of using other access method using a index file. So here we have to create a index file first of all. After creating this index file only, we'll be having the corresponding relative file. So this index file as well as the relative file all will be storing in the disk storage only. So எப்படி ஒரு book இருக்குன்னா அந்த bookலயே தான் நமக்கு என்ன இருக்கும், table of contents இருக்கும். That is the index. So அந்த indexல என்னென்ன டாபிக் இருக்கு, அந்த எந்த டாபிக்ல எந்த பேஜ் நம்பர்ல இருக்கு, so எல்லா டீடைல்ஸுமே bookலயே தானே இருக்கு. So அதே மாதிரி in our disk storage itself we are having this index file and the relative file also in the same disk storage. To search that file we are having an index file. So இந்த மாதிரி book and author details இல்லாம we can store any other details in a disk storage. Okay, so for this we have to keep index in memory for fast determination of location of data to be operated on. So நம்ம என்ன பண்ணோம், so index வந்து மெமரியில ஸ்டோர் பண்றோம். So இந்த index ஃபைல நம்ம இண்டெக்ஸா என்ன சூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கோம், ஒரு ஆத்தரோட லாஸ்ட் நேம் choose பண்ணிருக்கோம். Okay, for that we have to keep this index. The file with this index will be accessing the relative file. So if the index itself is too large in memory, suppose I have considered here a small library having only 50 books. If I am considering a very huge library means it may have 1 billions of books. So in that case, how I can maintain a index? So billions of book இருந்ததுனா, so அந்த indexல billions of details இருக்கும். So அப்போ நான் large details store பண்ணனும்னா, this index itself will be of large size in the disk. So in that case I am using index of index. So on the table of அந்த index க்கு, so 1 billion books இருந்ததுனா, so அந்த 1 billion books க்கு I am creating another index. So that another index may include category of the books. So books வந்து என்னென்ன கேட்டகரியில இருக்கு. இப்போ அங்க வந்து full and full engineering books இருக்குன்னா, it may be categorized into ECE, EEE, CSE, IT. Like that we can classify or we can categorize the billions of books into some category. Here I have categorized into the department. Okay, so அதே மாதிரி, so in the first index I will be having the department. So if I need to access this principles of operating system book means I will be choosing it in ECE department, and in that ECE department only I will be searching this principles of operating system book and with that author. Okay, so clear? So here will be if the index itself is large in size, then we will be having index of index on the disk storage. So this IBM and all uses indexed. So IBM, I hope you all know about this IBM company. So that company only use indexed sequential access method. For accessing the disk storage, they used indexed sequential access method. So by this, we'll be having a small master index, and in that master index, we'll be having the index data which points to the disk block of secondary index. So the master index நம்ம என்ன for example நம்ம consider பண்ணிருக்கிறது so ஒரு billion of books இருக்கு so நான் department wise நான் categorize பண்ணிருக்கேன் so அப்போ master index means it's my department name so with that I can identify the disk blocks of the secondary index so secondary index in that I will be having the books for each and every department so EC choose பண்ணோம்னா அந்த EC relevant ஆன books மட்டும்தான் அந்த EC index குள்ள இருக்கும் secondary indexல இருக்கும் okay so like that so this IBM is used indexed sequential access so index is one of a separate access method so on the index le they have combined the sequential access method sequential access means so the EC department குள்ள books எல்லாமே sequential arrange பண்ணிருப்போம் so அதுல எந்த book starting ல இருக்கும் so அந்த bookல இருந்து we have to search sequentially through the book to find the book name principles of operating system okay so like that this IBM company used indexed sequential access method for accessing this disk storage so here for this file kept sorted on a defined key so நம்ம ஸ்டோர் பண்ணிருக்க ஃபைல் எல்லாமே ஒரு கீயை வச்சு டிஃபைன் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க so here we have assumed this UPC code the code இருக்கா நம்மளுக்கு so அதே மாதிரி they'll be having a key that key will uniquely identifies the book so the book ஓட whole name நம்ம டிஃபைன் பண்ண முடியாது so this UPC code may be a 10 bits so அந்த மாதிரி 10 bit code வச்சு நம்ம டிஃபைன் பண்ணிருக்கலாம் so அப்படி டிஃபைன் பண்ணோம்னா அந்த இண்டெக்ஸ் என்னவா இருக்கும் ஸ்மாலர் சைஸா இருக்கலாம் so நம்ம full details அதே இண்டெக்ஸ்லயே கொண்டு வர முடியாது so that index will be having a key the key here for a book we may have this UPC code as a key UPC code is a code which uniquely identifies the book so all these sequential access method or direct access method or indexed method all these method are done by the operating system so ஒரு disk storage இருந்தா அந்த disk storage உள்ள data நம்ம எப்படி access பண்ண போறோம் so அதை access பண்றதுல எல்லாத்தையும் பண்றது யாரு our operating system only performs this data accessing mechanism this file accessing mechanism so till now we have seen the different methods of accessing files that we saw about sequential access direct access or relative access and then access using index of a file okay next we shall see about directory structure so what do you mean by file file means is a collection of relevant information for each and every file we'll be having a directory the directory stores the information about the file so what are the informations of that file will be available in the directory the name of the file and the unique ID that is identifier of that file all those details will be available in the directory belonging to that particular file so how this directory will be structured along with the file in our computer system we see means here I have given a diagram so in that we'll be having a directory and we'll be having a group of files so for each and every file we'll be having a particular directory which contains the information about the file so the collection of nodes containing information about all the files is nothing but your directory okay we are having different directory structure so we'll see all those structure one by one so before seeing the directory structure we will see about some terms in detail so normally our disk will be divided into partitions so we have already seen our disk will be divided into several tracks and those tracks will be again divided into sectors so in that sectors only we'll be having logical blocks within that logical block our data will be stored okay so ultimately our disk will be divided into partitions that partition can be made either by logical formatting or by physical formatting if you're having physical formatting means our disk is divided into sector if you're having logical formatting means our disk is divided into files okay so after partitioning we'll be using some other RAID levels for protecting our file content from failure okay so our disk will be partitioned and it will be subjected to any of the RAID level. Depending upon our application, our disk may be subjected to RAID level 0 to RAID level 6 to protect the content of the file against some failure. Okay. So for that purpose, we'll be using a RAR disk. So to store a data into the file, we'll be using a RAR disk. So we have already seen the files in our disk. So the entity containing the file system is known as volume. Okay. So we are dividing this disk into several volumes, and in that volumes we are having several files. Okay. For example, in our computer system, we may have this logical disk C colon and logical disk D, logical disk E and F, like that we are having. Likewise, we are dividing our secondary storage into several volumes. So each and every volume contains some file systems, and all those file systems has its corresponding information in the device directory. Device directory is simply called as directory, and this directory is also known as volume table of contents because it holds the information about the volume. So volume is nothing but a collection of files. Okay. We are having some general purpose file systems as well as special purpose file systems. So general purpose file system means it may be the user file which you are going to use. User file means we may use a Word document or a paint, or we may play a game, or we may hear a song. Like that, we'll be using our general purpose file system, and the corresponding file will be running in our operating system. In case of special purpose file system means it will be the system level files which is required for operating that particular application program. Will be having our special purpose file system. So for example, here I have given the slide number 9, some types of file system that is in a Solaris operating system. Here I have considered some types of file systems. All these types of file systems are special purpose one. See, first of all, I'm having a temporary file. The temporary file in the Solaris system will be TMPFS. Okay, Solaris is a OS which is developed by the Sun Microsystem. Okay, so the Solaris system I'm considering. So in that I'm having the temporary file with the name TMPFS. So temporary file means that file is a volatile file. So volatile file means as soon as the power supply is turned on, the content of the file or the file itself won't be available for the user to access. So that file is known as temporary file, and then we'll be having some other object files, that is a OBJFS files, and this object file will be generated when we are compiling a particular program. So we'll be writing a program in source code, that is in C or C++ language, that is our source code. So using our compiler, we'll be compiling it to find some errors. That is, our object file will be generated from our source code. So that type of file provide the interface to the kernel memory. Okay, so that file in the Solaris system is OBJFS, and then we'll be having some contract file system also. This contract file system is used for managing system programs or system daemons. So the system programs only is known as system daemons. So system programs means if you're running an application program, that application program may be a MS Word document. You are running an application program, say MS Word means at the background we'll be having several system programs required for running that application program. You may type some content, some text or some numbers or some other image you'll be inserting into a document. So for doing all those things, at the background system programs will be running. So to maintain the system program running at the background, we are having this contract file system, and in Solaris system it is known as CTFS. And also we are having loopback file system, that is LOFS. This file system allows the temporary file system to be accessed in place of another. Okay. So this loopback file system means we'll be having some temporary files. So if you are running an application program, it will be associated with several temporary files. You can see in task manager itself, if you are opening a document, Word document, and if you open a task manager, and if you see click that processes tab, I have already shown in the previous classes. If you click that processes tab means you'll be having several files that may be executable files or data file or object file or temporary file. In our Windows and all, this temporary file will be in a TMP file format. Okay, so if you see that means all those files or the temporary files, this loopback file system will allow this temporary files to be accessed in place of another file. Okay. If a particular file is corrupted means then we'll be using this temporary file to be used. So for this purpose, we are having this loopback file system. In Solaris, it is LOFS. Okay then, for providing kernel interface to the process. So in our system, we'll be running several user process. So through the system call, we'll be accessing the operating system service. So the system call is nothing but our kernel interface. So the interface from our user process to the operating system is provided by means of this PRO CFS file systems. Okay. And then also we'll be having some general purpose file system, that is UFS or SFS. This UFS or SFS or the file system, this is used in Solaris system. Okay. So like this, in our computer system, we may have special purpose file system along with the general purpose file system. See in this slide number 8, you can see how the directory and its associated files is stored in the disk. See here in the disk 1, this is shown in the left image. You can see the partition A containing a directory and the files associated with that particular directory. In the next partition, say partition B, I am having directory and the associated files. So all these partition A and the partition B is residing in the disk 1. And next, in the right side image, I hope you can see a block of memory. So in that block of memory itself, I am having two disks. Say disk 2 and disk 3. And the disk 2 and disk 3 is combined to form a single partition, say partition C. Here we are combining this disk 2 and disk 3 because our file size is very large compared to the disk. So in that case, we have to combine these partitions or these disks. So depending upon our file size, will be either splitting the disk storage or will be combining the disk storage. So here in this partition C, we are having the combination of two disks, say disk 2 and disk 3. So within that partition C, I am having a file and its corresponding directory. This directory holds the information about the file. Okay, clear? So this is how file and the directory will be stored in the disk storage. So I hope somewhat you will be clear about this file and the disk stored in memory. So if you see, what are the operations can be performed on the directory? So we are having a directory. So if you want to search for a file, so if you want to search for the file size may be very large. It may be in MB or in kilobyte. But the directory will be small in size because it contains only the information about that file. So it will be of smaller size. To search for a file, I'll be checking into the directory whether the particular file name is available or not. Okay. To search for the file, we'll be using our directory search, and for creating a file. So once we have created a file, the corresponding directory will also be created. The directory will store the details of the file like name of the file and unique identifier. Sometimes the directory may also include the informations like size of the file and some protection mechanism of the file. That is, what are the users who can access the file. All those information may also be available in the directory. So while creating a file itself, we'll be having a corresponding directory for that file in our system. So if you delete a file, so I have used that file and I don't need this file for any further time means I can delete a file. So while deleting a file, I'll be removing that directory also. Okay. So ஒரு file நான் delete பண்ணனா அதோட corresponding directory என்ன பண்ணுவேன் delete பண்ணிடுவேன். So that space will be available for some other file to occupy in the disk storage. For that only I am deleting a file as well as the directory. Okay. We can also list the directory. List the directory means to show the content of the directory such as the file name and the file ID, size or the protection. We can list the content of the directory and we can rename a file. So if you are changing a file name means, for example, a file name from file 1 to file 2 is changed. So the name residing in the corresponding directory should also be changed. So இங்க file 1ல இருந்து file 2 நான் change பண்ணனா, so இந்த file 2 name வந்து அதோட directoryலயும் போய் கண்டிப்பா என்ன பண்ணணும் change பண்ணணும். Then traversing the file system. So traversing the file system means, so what do you mean by file? File is a collection of relevant information on the disk storage. Traversing the file system means we'll be updating a content of the file. That is, we'll be adding some data into the file, or we may be deleting some data from the file, or we'll be changing the content of the file. So we'll be doing any operations within the data of the file. So for that, we need to update the file as well as the directory. So for doing all these changes, the size of the file may vary. So the size of the file detail is also be available in the directory. So in that case, if you change the size of the file, the corresponding file size in the directory should also be changed. So it will be changed at a regular intervals. So the file changes may be updated in the directory at the regular intervals. So these are the operations: searching for a file, or creating a file, or deleting a file, or listing a directory, or renaming a file, traversing the file system. So all these are the file operations to be performed on a directory. Next, we will see the directory structure. Okay. So in that directory structure, we are having several types. We'll see the types one by one. In the first case, you see the single level directory. So in single level directory, see here in the image, in the directory, I'm having this cat, BOA, test, data. All those are the directories. And below the directory, I'm having that file. Okay. Here in single directory, I will have, for each and every user, I will be having a single directory. So single directory will be available for all user. Okay. So see here in this figure, I'm having a single directory. So in that single directory, I'm having several files: cat, BOA, test, data, etc. So, and the file contents are available below in the form of circles. Okay. So here in the single level directory, only one level of directory will be available. See, in this single level directory, only one level of directory is available. So in our computer system, we may have either 5 files or hundreds of files. If I am having the 5 files means I can give a unique name for each and every file available within a single level directory. But if I have thousands of files means I have to give thousands of unique name to each and every file. So நான் ஒரு files தான் நான் சிஸ்டம்ல இருக்கு. அப்ப நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன், 5 நேம் மட்டும் கொடுத்தா போதும். 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 5 நேம் மட்டும் கொடுத்தா போ Okay, so the single level directory la எனக்கு 5 ஃபைல் நான் யூஸ் பண்றேன்னா so அந்த 5 ஃபைல்ஸ்க்கு மட்டும் நான் யூனிக்கா ஒரு நேம் சூஸ் பண்ணி கொடுக்கலாம். If in that single level directory itself I'm having thousands of files, because in our computer system there is no limitation to have this much number of files or this much number of files. We can have as much number of files in our system depending upon the size of the disk storage. So if I'm having thousands of files within a single level directory means I have to give this 1,000 unique file names for each and every file residing in that directory. Okay, so இப்ப 1000 files இருக்குன்னா 1000 names நான் யூனிக்கா நான் கொடுக்கணும். so அதுல ஏதாவது ஒரு சிமிலரா இருந்தா it won't accept. so 1000, it may be 1000 or it may be billions also. so in that case I have to give unique names for all those files. so here we are having that naming problem, and also here we can't group it. Okay, so we are having different files in the disk and all, so we can't group the files. For example, for running a program, say program A, we may need some set of 5 files. So that 5 files can't be grouped. For doing this program A, I may need resource from this file 1, I may need the resource from file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. So at a time, all these 5 files can't be accessed. So here we are having a grouping problem in this single level directory. So only one level of directory is available, and within that we are having several files. So here we can't group it. நம்ம என்ன பண்ண முடியாது, group பண்ண முடியாது. Okay, so in the single level directory we can't have grouping, and there is also a naming problem associated with the single level directory. So only we are going for the next directory structure. So in the next directory structure, we are having 2-level directory. So in this 2-level directory, here I have provided an image. I hope you all can see it. In that, we are having a master file directory and a user file directory. So in the master file directory, we'll be having the number of users. So the number of user may be in a same system or from different system. So in a different system, we may have different user, or in one system itself, we may have different user. So different user means it need not to be the different login user. It may be a different user process also. So in this master file directory, I'm having user 1 to user 4. So I'm having 4 user. That is, in a single system itself, if I accessing 4 user process. That is, if I'm opening 4 application programs, it may be a Word document, it may be a Paint or a video file or a game application. Like this, I'm opening a 4 application program. So all these 4 application program will be available within this master file directory. Okay, so இப்போ நான் 4 அப்ளிகேஷன் அட் அ டைம் ஓபன் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். ஸோ இந்த வேர்ட் டாக்குமெண்ட்டுக்கு என்னென்ன அசோசியேட்டட் ஃபைல் இருக்கு, ஸோ தட் வில் பி குரூப்ட் இன் user 1. ஸோ user 1ல we are having in the user file directory level, I'm having cat bo a test. So these are the user file directory level. Within that I'm having the files. So that is, நான் MS Word டாக்குமெண்ட் ரன் பண்றதுக்கு என்னென்ன ஃபைல்லாம் நான் டிஸ்க் ஸ்டோரேஜ் வந்து யூஸ் பண்றேன். சோ அதெல்லாம் நான் என்ன பண்றேன், user 1ன்னு ஒரு நேம் பண்ணி அது கீழ குரூப் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கிறேன். ஓகே, and user 2ல என்ன பண்றேன், it may be a MS Paint. so MS Paintக்கு நான் என்னென்ன ஃபைல்ஸ் நான் யூஸ் பண்ண போறேன், here it may be considered as user 2. so for this user 2, what are the files, a and file data. so all these what are the files I'm going to use this will be under this user 2. so under this user 3, it may be a video file. So for that video file, I may be using this A and test files, and this user 4. The user 4 may be the gaming application which I am running. So in that there may be a files X data A. So file is nothing but I am saying it is a collection of relevant information. Okay. So in our document, Word document, I'm consider it as user 1. நான் Word document user 1 ஆவும், Paint வந்து user 2 ஆவும், user 3 ல நான் எதை கன்சிடர் பண்ணிக்கிறேன்? வீடியோ பிளேயர், ஏதாவது ஒரு வீடியோ பிளேயர். அண்ட் user 4 ல நான் எதை கன்சிடர் பண்ணிக்கிறேன்? Some other gaming applications. So the files means is nothing but the collection of relevant information on the disk. So diskல இந்த MS Word documentக்கு என்னென்ன storage blocks, அந்த storage blocks தான் we are grouped into files. So அதுல என்னென்ன files தேவையோ அதெல்லாம் நான் user 1 கீழ வச்சிருக்கேன். and user 2 கீழ what are the files so required for this paint application, then what are the files required for this video player, and what are the files required for this gaming application. Like this, I'm having a 2 level. One level is master file directory, another level is user file directory. Master file directory means for a single system what are the user available. It may be a login user or it may be a different application running at a time in a computer system. Okay, so all those details will be available in the master file directory. In the user file directory, the basic files will be available. Okay, I hope you will be clear with this image provided in the slide number 12. So here, for accessing a file, we need to specify a file path. For example, if I need to access the data in the file cat, so cat and the file oda data na access panna poren. So the cat and the file வந்து எங்க இருக்கு? It is in the user file directory. Under which master file directory? Under user 1. To access this cat file, I need to specify the path name. Path name ல என்ன இருக்கும்? It consists of the master file directory and the corresponding user file directory. So to access the data in the cat file, I need to specify user1 cat. Then only I will be accessing the cat file in that username. So இந்த கேஸ்ல பார்த்தனா cat and the file name வந்து வேற எங்கேயுமே ரிப்பீட் ஆகல. So அதனால நம்ம cat ன்னு access பண்ணாலுமே அந்த file access பண்ணலாம். For example, I am accessing another file, say test. So test ன்னு அந்த name, அந்த file ஓட name எந்தெந்த user கீழலாம் இருக்கு? It is available in user 1 as well as in user 3. So in the previous caseல in single level directory, we should have unique name for each and every file because all those file is belonging to a single directory. That is single level directory. Here in this case, we are having 2 level directory. This level we have grouped the user and the corresponding files. Okay. So under this, if you see means the test file name is available under the user 1 as well as the user 2. So we have to specify the complete path name. If you want to access the test file under user 1, we need to give it as user 1 test. If you simply give test file means we can't say whether we are going to access the test file belonging to the user 1 or belonging to the user 3. So to mention that, we have to give the complete path name. Okay, so in this case, in this 2 level directory, we can have same file name but for different users. For different users, we may have same file name. So this naming problem is eradicated in this 2 level directory, and it is also efficient for searching process because if you want to search a file means it will be easy because we are having a master directory and a user file directory. We no need to search the whole directory. In the previous case and all, in single level directory, you saw we are having only one single level. In the single level itself, we may have thousands of files. So the ஒரே level நம்ம thousands of file check பண்ணோம்னா it will be a tedious one and it will be a time consuming process. But in this case, in 2 level directory, here we have grouped the files in different users. So I know that particular file belong to user 3. So it will be easy for me So 1000 files இருக்கு. அந்த 1000 files-உம் is grouped under 5 users. Then the 1000 files நம்ம 5 ஆல divide பண்ணும்போது, so for individual user will be having minimum amount of file compared to the 1000 file accessing in single level directory. The 1000 files-ஐயும் single level directory-ல கம்ப்ளீட்டா ஹோலா நம்ம ஆக்சஸ் பண்றது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கும் compared to this 2 level directory. Because in 2 level directory the 1000 files நம்ம என்ன பண்ண போறோம், it is grouped under 5 category. That is in 5 users we are grouping this 1000 files. So இந்த 1000 files-ஐயும் நம்ம 5 category-ல group பண்ணிரோம். group பண்ணிட்டு அப்போ ஒவ்வொரு user கீழயும் நம்ம 1000 files வராது, அதோட 5 divided by 5 வேல்யூ தான் நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கும். சோ அப்போ நம்ம ஈஸியா என்ன பண்ணிக்கலாம், சர்ச் பண்றதுக்கு ரொம்ப ஈஸியா இருக்கும் compared to single level directory. So we prefer this 2 level directory over single level directory. But here also we can't have this grouping capability. So for example, see I said this user 1 is Microsoft Word document சொல்லிருக்கேன். user 3 வந்து ஒரு MS Paint. நான் MS Paintல draw பண்ற இமேஜ நான் MS Word documentல நான் பேஸ்ட் பண்ண நினைக்கலாம். சோ அப்ப என்ன பண்ணணும், user 3ல உள்ள ஃபைல I have to bring it to the user 1. Okay, நான் MS Paintல ஒரு டயகிராம் ஒரு பிக்சர் நான் டிரா பண்ணிருக்கேன். அந்த பிக்சரை நான் MS Paintல நான் பேஸ்ட் பண்ண போகணும். சோ அப்படி பேஸ்ட் பண்ணணும்னா நான் என்ன பண்ணணும், அங்க இருந்து நான் இங்க ஷேர் பண்ணணும் or group பண்ணணும். But here this grouping is not available in this 2 level directory. So it is a disadvantage of 2 level directory. So here okay, students, be on the line. I'll complete this 2 level directory and I will ask Viva question. Okay, so be on the line. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, see here, in this 2 level directory, we don't have this grouping capability. So I hope everyone can see this slide. So in this 2 level directory, we don't have this grouping capability. That is, if user 1 needs to access a file from user 3 means it is not allowed in this 2 level directory. So we are going for another level directory. So everyone be on the call because today's session we started from 9:45. So up to 11:15 we'll be having our class. So be on the line. Okay. So to overcome this grouping problem, we are having this tree structure directory. So this tree structure directory will be as shown this slide number 14. I hope you all can see this image in slide number 14. See here, it is similar to your binary search tree, which we have studied in our data structure. And the first unit also, we studied about this binary search tree. The same way, in that binary search tree, we'll be having the nodes. And here, that nodes is assumed to be the files. Okay. So here, in this tree structure directories, we'll be having a root nodes. So in the root nodes also we'll be having the directories, spell, bin and programs or the root directories. So under this spell directory, I'm having another 3 directory, that is stat, mail, dist. So these are the 3 directory. This is a simple example. You can give any name for the directory. Okay. So in the spell key again 3 directory irukku, stat, mail, dist. So this mail is again divided into subdirectories. prog, copy, PRT, exp. So this prog is again divided into subdirectory. Like this, in tree structure, we'll be having a node directory, and under this node directory, there may be a directory or a subdirectory or a file itself. Okay. Like this, we'll be having the tree structured directories. Okay. So, I said under this root directory, I can have a file or a directory itself. See here in this case, under the spell directory, I'm having three directories: stat, mail, dist. So in stat and dist directory, I had the files. In this mail directory, I had another subdirectory prog copy prt exp. So under a directory, I can have a subdirectory or a file to represent this subdirectory or this particular directory has a file or another sublevel of directory. I'm using a bit. So a one bit is used in this case. In each directory entry, this one bit defines whether this directory has a subdirectory or a file. Okay. So if the directory has a file means the bit in the directory entry will be 0. If the directory has a subdirectory means that particular bit will be 1 if it is a subdirectory. Okay. So என்ன பண்றோம், இந்த மாதிரி tree structureல root directory இருக்கு, subdirectory இருக்கு. So அந்த root directoryல இருந்து ஒரு subdirectory இருக்குதுன்னா அந்த root directory உள்ள one of the bit will be utilized for indicating whether it is a subdirectory or a file. So that bit will be set to 0 if it is a file. It will be set to 1 if it is a subdirectory. Okay. So here, if you want to search, நம்ம search பண்ணோம்னா என்ன பண்ணிக்கலாம்? We can easily search in this case by means of this path. So here, if I need to use dist file, see where this dist file is there. Dist file is under the directory spell. So to indicate the path, I'll be giving spell dist. So under the root directory spell, I'm having this directory dist. Under that, I can access the file of this dist directory. Okay. Like this, if I need to access the file of a particular directory, I have to mention from the root. So if the path name mentioned from the root means it is known as absolute path. So in the path name itself, we are having two types. One is absolute path, another one is relative path name. So absolute path na நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், so அந்த ஃபைல நம்ம root directory ல இருந்து மென்ஷன் பண்றது absolute path. Relative path means நம்ம ஃபைல நம்ம இப்போ current directory எங்க இருக்கோ அதுல இருந்து நம்ம மென்ஷன் பண்றது relative path. Okay, clear? So here I have taken an example of accessing this first file. See in this tree structure shown in the slide number 14, where this first file is there. In the slide number 14, I'm having the first file at the last level I'm having. See here, this first file is available under which directory, which subdirectory? PRT. So before this first file, I'm having a directory PRT. This PRT belongs to another subdirectory mail, and this mail belongs to another subdirectory spell. So if I need to specify the path name for this first file in terms of absolute path name, I'll be specifying it from the root directory. That is here, it is spell root spell mail PRT first. See, I'm saying it with the image shown in the figure. See here, I'm having root. So in that root directory, I'm having this spell directory. Under the spell directory, I'm having mail directory. Under this mail directory, I'm having PRT directory. So under this PRT subdirectory, I'm having this first file. So to access this first file in absolute name, I need to mention it root spell mail PRT first, if it is a absolute file name. In relative file name, For example, I'm accessing some other file under this mail. So இந்த மெயில் டைரக்டரி கீழேயே நான் வேற ஏதாவது ஒரு டைரக்டரியில் உள்ள ஃபைலை நான் ஆக்சஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். இந்த மெயில் டைரக்டரி கீழே நான் வேற ஏதாவது ஒரு ஃபைலை நான் ஆக்சஸ் பண்றேன். ஸோ அப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ணா போதும், அந்த மெயில் டைரக்டரியில இருந்து அந்த ஃபைலோட பாத் நேமை மென்ஷன் பண்ணா போதும். Because the size of that path name is reduced means it is a memory efficient one. So only we are going for this relative path and all. So இந்த மெயில் இருந்து நம்ம relative path எப்படி மென்ஷன் பண்ணுவோம்? From this name mail subdirectory we are having PRT then first. Okay? So mail நம்ம current directory இருந்ததுன்னா the relative path will be PRT, the subdirectory of the first directory, and then path will be there. So only this relative path I'm having PRT first. So in this tree structure directory, we have to specify the path name of the file which we are going to use. It may be an absolute path or it may be a relative path. We'll be using relative path if the file is residing in the current directory itself. Okay. So remaining thing we'll see in the next class. So next I will ask some question. Akash?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you're on the line, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you explain any one of the directory just which you know familiar with? Akash?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
எந்த
Ma'am,
directory நீ
now
explain பண்ற?
tree structure directory, ma'am. இப்போ சொல்லி
okay.
கொடுத்தீங்களா?
Okay, you can explain this tree
first
structure
வந்து
directory.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து இப்போ ரூட்ல இருந்து ஸ்பெல் போகும் நீங்க, அதுக்கப்புறம் மெயிலுக்கு போகும் நீங்க.
நீ வேற ஏதாவது எக்ஸாம்பிள், ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஃபைண்ட் இருக்கா? ஃபைண்ட்னு ஒரு டைரக்டரி இந்த ரைட் சைடு.
ஃபைண்ட்
ரைட் சைடுல பாரு.
எஸ் மேம், எஸ் மேம்.
அந்த ஃபைண்ட் டைரக்டரி நான் ஆக்சஸ் பண்ணனும்னா அப்சல்யூட் பாத் எப்படி ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்ணுவேன் சொல்லலாமா?
அப்சல்யூட் பாத் அது தெரியல மேம், அது எனக்கு எப்படின்னு தெரியல.
சரி, பாத் நேம் எப்படி ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்ண சொல்லு.
என்ன மேம்?
the find எந்த சப் டைரக்டரிக்குள்ள இருக்கு, எந்த ரூட் டைரக்டரியில இருக்கு ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்ணு. ஆகாஷ்? Akash, you are on the call, right?
Yes, ma'am.
சரி, இல்ல நீனே வேற ஏதாவது ஒரு ரூட் நோட் ஏதாவது சூஸ் பண்ணி சொல்லு. ஏதாவது ஒரு நோட் யூஸ் பண்ணி.
ரூட் வந்து ப்ரோக்ராம்ல இதா இருக்கு மேம்.
ஓகே, ப்ரோக்ராம்.
தென் அதுக்கு அப்புறம் பீல கனெக்ட் ஆயிருக்கு மேம்.
ஓகே. ஆஃப்டர் தட்
அதுக்கு அப்புறம் தென் லிஸ்ட்ல போயிருக்கு.
நான் ஃபைண்ட் யூஸ் பண்ணனும்னா அந்த பி டைரக்டரி கீழ தான் எல்லாமே இருக்கு, ஃபைண்ட் இருக்கு.
ஆமா.
அப்ப பி அடுத்து ஃபைண்ட் தானே சொல்லணும். நான் ஃபைண்ட் தானே கேட்டேன்.
ஆமா ஆமா, ஃபைண்ட். ஆமா ஆமா.
சோ அப்ப பாத் வந்து we have to mention it from the root node, okay?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, how will we mention it from a root node?
root node la node
ரூட் என்னது? நீ தான் சொன்னீல்ல, கரெக்ட்டா தான் சொல்ற, சொல்லு. ஆகாஷ், நீ கரெக்ட்டா தான் சொன்ன. ஆகாஷ் லைன்ல இருக்கியா? ஆகாஷ்? ஆகாஷ், say something.
மேம்
நீ கரெக்ட்டா சொன்ன. அதுவே எனக்கு சொல்லு. எனக்கு இப்பதான் கேக்குது, இதுவரை கேக்கல. சொல்லு.
மேம் இப்போ பின்ல இருந்து கனெக்ட் பண்றோம் வெச்சுக்கோங்க. இப்போ கவுண்ட்க்கு போகுது.
ஓகே, அப்ப பின்னு கவுண்ட் தான் அதோட பாத் நேம். அவ்வளவுதான் பாத் நேம்னா. சரியா? பாத் நேம்னா ரூட்ல இருந்து சொல்லணும். நீ
ஆ
ஃபைண்டோட பாத் நேம்னா எதுலன்னு சொல்லுவ? ரூட்ல இருந்து என்னது? ரூட்டுக்கு அடுத்து என்ன இருக்கு?
ரூட்டுக்கு அடுத்து ஸ்பெல்லு இல்ல பின் இல்ல ப்ரோக்ராம்.
ஓகே. ஃபைண்ட் வந்து எந்த ரூட்ல இருக்கு?
ஃபைண்ட் வந்து செகண்ட் ரூட்ல இருக்கு. பின் ரூட்ல.
ப்ரோக்ராம். ப்ரோக்ராம்.
ப்ரோக்ராமா?
கரெக்டா தானே சொன்ன ஃபர்ஸ்ட்?
ஆமா மேம்.
ம். தென்
தென் அதுக்கப்புறம்
ப்ரோக்ராம்க்கு அடுத்து எதுல இருக்கு?
ப்ரோக்ராம் பில இருக்கு. பி அப்புறம் ஃபைண்ட்.
ஓகே. ஓகே. அதுதான் கேக்குறேன். சரி, ஓகே. ஓகே, ஆகாஷ்.
ஓகே மேம்.
Okay. You have to try your level best in the next Viva, okay?
எஸ் மேம்.
Okay. If anyone has any doubt in today's session, you can ask. Okay, then Preeti. Preeti Subramaniam, you're on the line, right? Preeti. So our Preeti is Padma Preeti or Preeti Subramaniam? Okay, no response. That I will end the call, okay?